is known about the original crazy sign, but it's still a treasure here in our town, and it's one of the two iconic signs that are part of this whole renovation and rejuvenation of our downtown. So I have with me Dustin, who was part of Leadership Mineral Wells Class 24, and their project was to restore the sign. So we're going to talk a little bit about the history, what we know, and then a little bit about the current project. So tell me what you know about the history of the sign.
Well, what we've been able to dig up is not much, like you said, but we did find out that it was built in 1933. It spanned across 180 completely. That was back when it was 2 lanes. It was 2 ways instead of 1 way. And then they tore it down on Christmas Eve of 1958. From what we could find out, it was due to a bat infestation, but that was also when TxDOT was coming into its own, and the regulations were getting more strict, and so I think that also played a part in it as well.
At the time that it was built, it was one of only 2 signs that TxDOT allowed to actually span one of the highways that they maintain. Now this one isn't in the original spot, but it still has a lot of significance with TxDOT.
Yes.
Texas Highway?
Yes, it's the largest non-commercial sign that spans across a U.S. or a Texas State Highway or U.S. Highway. And the reason behind TxDOT allowing us to put it up was because it's not a advertisement for anything specific. During our research, we found out that the sign was actually built for a local pharmacy that is no longer here. And the pharmacy was actually 2 blocks that way, where current Happy Days Diner is at.
Okay, all right, so that explains the 2 blocks in the arrow. Mm-hmm. So it was never about the Crazy Hotel?
It was never pointing towards the Crazy Water Hotel. They just, because the crazy name and everything was so popular, they had a crazy pharmacy, and we were assuming that the gentleman or the family that owned that pharmacy played a part in having it put up.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Bring us up to the original one was in porcelain, and we don't know where it's at. We don't know where the pieces went.
We did talk to Mr. Phil Garrett with the Historical Society, and he said that over the years people have tried hunting down bits and pieces of the sign, and they tracked where a portion of the sign was sold to a gentleman. They were never able actually to locate it. Porcelain is very expensive, so when we were looking into the cost of renovating and putting the sign, not renovating, but putting the sign back up, we knew it was not going to be porcelain, and the material that we ended up using with legacy signs is more cost efficient whenever maintenance comes down the line.
So talk about, how did your class decide on this as your project?
Honestly, I don't remember. We were a late blooming bunch when it came to deciding what we wanted to do. Class started in February, and we probably didn't decide on the sign until June. So we were a few months behind on deciding our project, but somebody from our group mentioned it, and we kind of spitballed about it a little bit. And when we finally made the decision that the crazy sign was going to be our project, we knew taking on that big of a project was going to go into, next future classes and going to take longer than the allotted time for our class that year.
And so it actually went up March of this year. How long from the time you guys decided on your project until the sign went up? Was it
almost 2 years?
2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years. From the time we said let's do it until it went up in, I think it was late February, early March, somewhere around there. It was almost 2 years.
And is this the whole of the project, or is there more planned?
This is the sign itself is complete. We don't have anything. Nothing else is going on the sign, but we do have future projects to go around it. Like we want to put a mural thanking all of our sponsors and donors. We're going to put in a brick area where you can donate a brick or sponsor a brick, and we'll have the future. The plan is for that to go into the park area that Randy has planned for. Yeah, the urban park in the future. I know that that's quite a ways down the line, so I think for now, when we go to put that in and incorporate that, we're just going to put it around the sign somewhere, so that way when people come up to take pictures, they can read a little bit of the history about it and see who all's involved, who all donated, and things of that nature.
One of the questions that I know from your Facebook page, and because I help with that page, one of the questions that comes up a lot is, why didn't we put it back where it started, where it originally stood?
Well, we tried.
Right.
TxDOT said no. I think another reason why they had to take it down was because we can't have anything blocking the light, the intersection.
Okay.
So where it originally stood would be between the light right here on East Hubbard and Northeast First Avenue.
Okay.
Right there where the baker's at.
So
And so, yeah,
the
so
traffic light.
the traffic light would have been blocked.
Okay.
So TxDOT was like, they were very picky about where we could put it, and we wanted to keep it as close to the area as possible, but still keep it across 180. And so when we were looking at locations, taking into account future plans for the city and the urban park area, and the Baker coming along and the Crazy Water coming back, we thought that this would be a great location. Also because we do Spooky Wells and Merry Wells and all of those things here as well.
Down here. So talk to me about how the project started, and kind of what this means to you guys, even to just see it up and finished after working on it for so long.
Well, the project started, we were in Leadership 24. Mineral Wells Chamber of Commerce has had a leadership class for the last 24 years. We patterned ours after the class before us did signs around the Baker Hotel, just to give a history about Mineral Wells. So we wanted to piggyback off of that and give more history back to Mineral Wells. So we picked the crazy sign.
Okay.
This sign stood for a long time and became a symbol of Mineral Wells. And we wanted to do a photo opportunity sign that could be used in green space in some kind of area in a park to bring tourists to and to do photo ops. Well, that grew, and we got asked if we could increase that and try to get it back over a roadway. And so we went and we had to talk to TxDOT. That was the biggest deal. We talked to TxDOT. They said as long as it's not a direct advertisement, they didn't have a problem with it. So we immediately started trying to see if we could get fundraising kicked off. We found out what it was going to cost us to go over the road. We talked to some people in town. We got some good traction early on about fundraising, and then it kind of hit a wall for a little while. And then once the Baker Hotel started, the family that sold the Baker Hotel gave us a sizable donation and got us kicked back off. So with the community's help, the Baker Hotel, Crazy Water Hotel, everything that's going on in town, just kind of pulled everybody together, and that's what was able to raise the funds to get this done.